They say your final words define you.
Myself no believe in my death.
You will not die?
No believe in general in the death, but in the death of Dali, absolutely not. Not.
Some whisper goodbyes, others leave wisdom, and then there are those who go out with pure unintentional comedy. From generals who tempted fate to performers who literally died on stage, these final lines remind us that even in our last moments, irony never dies. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and shake your head at 20 of the funniest and most ironic last words from history. Karl Marx never intended to go quietly. Bedridden with bronchitis in London, 1883, the man who had spent his life dismantling systems of power couldn't resist one final act of defiance. His housekeeper asked if he had any last words. His reply cut through the room like a sneer. "Go on. Get out. Last words are for fools who haven't said enough." It was an answer that could only come from Marx, fierce, impatient, and utterly unwilling to play the part of the sentimental dying man. After decades spent writing Das Kapital and shaping a philosophy that would ignite revolutions, he met death not with fear, but with contempt for theatrics.
But in those pages is some of the most infamous and influential political propaganda of all time.
He'd already written his epitaph across history. Why waste breath on a closing line? The irony, of course, is that those words became immortal, quoted, debated, and replayed for generations. The man who rejected last words ended up with one of the most quoted farewells ever recorded. Even in death, Marx couldn't escape the paradox of his own genius, a thinker who believed words could change the world, yet refused to let them define his end. Jack Daniel's final request couldn't have been more fitting or more ironic. The man whose name would become synonymous with whiskey met his end because of something far less intoxicating: impatience. One morning in 1906, the distiller arrived early at his Lynchburg office and, frustrated when his safe wouldn't open, kicked it in anger. The blow injured his toe, which turned gangrenous, and the infection slowly poisoned his blood. As the pain grew unbearable, he supposedly whispered, "One last drink, please." It's hard not to see the poetry in that. Daniel had built his empire from a teenage apprenticeship into one of America's most famous distilleries. He perfected the charcoal mellowing process that gave Tennessee whiskey its smoothness, a detail so distinctive it became the brand's soul. Yet in the end, it wasn't alcohol that killed him, but stubbornness and steel. Still, that final request captures his spirit. Simple, direct, and soaked in the humor of a man who knew exactly what comfort meant. His name lives on in every black-labeled bottle, a toast raised eternally to the man who couldn't open a safe, but unlocked a legacy instead. For Salvador Dali, reality was always negotiable, even at the edge of death. When heart failure finally claimed him in 1989, the Spanish surrealist reportedly murmured, "I do not believe in my death."
Myself no believe in my death.
You will not die?
No believe in general in the death, but in the death of Dali, absolutely not. Not.
It was the perfect last line for a man who had spent his life bending time, space, and sanity into art. Dali never accepted the ordinary rules of existence. Why should mortality be any different? From the melting clocks of the persistence of memory to the dreamlike contortions of his self-portraits, Dali built worlds that laughed at logic. His mustache was as sharp as his wit, his persona a calculated performance that blurred where the man ended and the myth began. In later years, after the loss of his beloved wife Gala, he withdrew into near silence. But even then, his mind was a cathedral of strange beauty. When he said he didn't believe in his death, it wasn't denial, it was conviction. Dali's greatest masterpiece was himself, and in true surrealist fashion, he refused to admit the show was over. Somewhere, in his painted dreams, the clocks are still melting, but Dali hasn't run out of time. Groucho Marx couldn't resist one final joke, even as pneumonia claimed his last breath. Surrounded by family in Los Angeles in 1977, the 86-year-old comedian reportedly smiled and quipped, "Die? Why, that's the last thing I'll do." It was the perfect Groucho send-off, dry, irreverent, and delivered with that sly wit that had defined his entire career. Death to him was just another straight man waiting for a punchline. For decades, Groucho had been the sharpest tongue in the room, whether sparring with his brothers in Duck Soup and A Night at the Opera, or tossing one-liners on his quiz show, You Bet Your Life. Behind the cigar, the grease paint mustache, and the arched eyebrows was a mind that could dismantle pretension in seconds. His humor cut through the Great Depression, war, and Hollywood vanity with surgical precision. So when the moment came, he treated mortality no differently than a heckler, with a laugh and a comeback. Groucho Marx left the world exactly as he lived in it, refusing to take anything, not even dying, too seriously, and fittingly, he made sure the final laugh was his. Death is the great equalizer, but sometimes it's also the greatest punchline. From the bold to the oblivious, these final words show that humor doesn't die easily, even when we do. Which of these last lines made you laugh the most, or left you shaking your head in disbelief? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more bizarre moments from history. Because sometimes truth really is stranger and funnier than fiction. Thank you for watching.